Hey Sunflower Gang, welcome back to another YouTube tutorial by yours truly. I am Jasmine Smith, also known as Sunflower Faith, and I hope that you're having an abundant life in Christ Jesus. Now, if you're watching this video, it's for one reason and one reason only. You want to learn how to become a master painter in the comfort of your own home. Not to worry, I got you, boo. So let's go ahead and get started. Now you're going to need a couple of supplies. If you have already purchased your starter kit, your sunflower chest starter kit, you already have everything you need inside the box. One, you're going to need some paint brushes. You're going to need your paint palette, and go ahead and lay those colors out on that palette. 4 colors, red, white, black, and brown. And you're also going to need some clean water in your pre-sketched canvas. Now, let's go ahead and get started with this video. So the first thing we're going to do is our background, and our background we're going to do gray because gray makes that red wine pop really nice. So just mix some black and some white, and you can alternate in between those colors to create your nice gray background. Now throughout this video, you'll see me going back and forth between the white and the black to blend those colors in and create this gray. Now here's a trick. And the technique of this whole entire video is that we want to treat our acrylic paint as if it was watercolor. And what watercolor is basically a diluted version of paint. So basically you're going to wet your brush and then you're going to dip it in that paint, dab that excess water out, and you're going to paint over your entire canvas. Now, as you can see, I went ahead and did my background and I sped through it a little bit. Now, be careful when you're doing your background not to put the paint on really heavy, because if you paint really heavy, you're gonna overlap onto your lines and you're not gonna be able to see your outline of your wine glass. But if you do make a mistake and paint over the wine glass lines, don't worry, we can get some black paint and we can draw it out. But the lines are here to serve as a guide, you know, for your painting. So make sure that you don't paint over those lines. And as you can see, I'm still going through on my white and my black, and I'm getting those edges. I'm dipping that brush in water, and I'm just lightly stroking over my canvas to blend those colors in so that you don't have differing layers of paint. Like everything looks uniform, nice and smooth. You don't get really harsh stroke lines, paint stroke lines. You'll get a nice even blend, a nice even background that is that's pleasing to the eye, and it also complements that wine glass. Now, as I'm looking at my painting, I notice how the left side of my background is a lot lighter than the right side. Now, in art, there's no such thing as mistakes. What we do is we paint over. We don't start over, we paint over. So basically, get your black and get your white, mix it together, and you want to add another layer of gray over the top of that background if one side seems to come out lighter than the other. And also remember to dip your brush in water periodically. Keep your brush wet, and that helps the acrylic paint to apply really nice and smooth. That way you don't get any chunky looking painting. Everything looks uniform. So keep dipping that brush in that water, and you want to paint over that background and blend down so that all your layers blend together, just like I'm doing right here. And another trick to getting a nice even background is you want to make sure you're using a round brush when it comes to outlining your objects. So I'm taking this nice thin round brush and I am going around the curve of my glass. You'll see me do that periodically just to kind of make sure those colors are nicely blended at the object, like at the point of contact. And you can see me doing that right up here in the wine glass, in between the wine glass and the actual wine bottle. I'm kind of going in and making sure I'm blending that color all the way in and downward. Blend down, blend down, blend down so that your background can look even, it can match, and it can be uniform. And I'm doing it again right here above my wine that's actually pouring from the bottle. I'm basically outlining first, and then I'm going back to blend those colors all the way in, and then I'm going to blend downward. So as you apply the paint, blend down. Apply the paint, blend down. Wet your brush, blend down. Just so that your background can look nice and even. I'm just going to finish up this background really quick. I'm going to keep adding my layers of white and and black, and I'm going to keep mixing that gray, and I'm going to keep outlining my objects and blending that color in really nice in a horizontal stroke pattern. Now your stroke pattern is very important. It determines how your background looks, and if you want everything to look nice and smooth, nice and uniform, you want to use the same stroke pattern. You don't want to start painting in a vertical way, in a vertical pattern, and then switching to a horizontal, because then you'll get a background that looks a little bit funny. Don't forget to wet your brush in between to blend those colors into the background. Now, if you put too much water and you see your paint dripping like I have done, don't worry, just get some more paint and paint over the top. But make sure you work really quickly, because acrylic paint dries really fast and you don't want to have a watermark on your painting. Now, the next thing you'll see me do is I'm going to begin to paint my table, and I'm going to use brown and white, and I'm going to alternate between those colors. Now, I'm also going to use this watercolor technique to blend those colors in really nice and smooth, because I am alternating between colors. I want my layers to look nice and even. And I find that the watercolor technique works really well while using thinner acrylic paint, because it allows you to apply more layers. So in my personal experience, I find that it's easier to darken an object versus lightening an object or lifting an object. Now, if you work in thin layers, it allows you to control how you build the painting. Basically, it allows you to control the lighting, the low lights, highlights, cast shadows, reflective light, all of that good stuff. So make sure you work in thin layers, especially with acrylic paint. Now, acrylic paint dries really quickly. So if you're working in very chunky or thick layers, you're gonna get a really chunky looking painting. So you wanna make sure you're using thin layers. The thinner, the better when working with acrylic paint. Now, as you're going to see, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep alternating between that brown and that white to finish up my background, to finish up my table. And I'm going to also go around my object, my wine glass, with this round brush, and I'm going to blend out in a horizontal stroke pattern. I'm going to wet my brush periodically, and I'm going to blend down. Now, as you can see, I started using that vertical stroke pattern. I changed it up, but I realized I told you guys not to do that. So I went back over it and I blended downward in a horizontal stroke pattern. Now, I'm going to continue to apply the watercolor technique with this painting, especially for my wine glass, because the glass itself is clear or transparent. So you want to be able to see that brown through that wine glass. So basically, I'm going to dip my brush in some water, and I'm going to dip it in that brown to create this nice thin layer of brown. And I'm just going to go over my wine glass in such a way that I can still see the outline of that glass. I'm not going to make it too dark. I'm just going to make it just light enough to where I could see the brown and those outlines. In the next part, you'll see me going and applying that same technique inside of the wine glass. I'm going to dip my brush in some white. I'm going to dip it in some water, and then I'm going to dip it in some black. And I'm going to create this nice light gray. Using the watercolor technique, I'm going to go inside this glass, and I'm going to just lightly stroke the canvas to fill in that background for this wine glass. I'm going to use my round brush to go in between objects. And when I normally go in between objects, you apply a thicker layer of paint to get nice, clean, smooth lines. And you're going to see me doing that inside the neck of the wine glass as well. Now, this is my favorite part. I'm going to go with my red, and I'm going to apply this red so that this canvas can have some more life to it. So get your nice holiday red and just go in and paint your wine. Paint the wine pouring from the glass, from the bottle, and actually paint the wine in the glass and in the bottle as well. going to see me speed through this a little bit, basically doing my outline. And then I'm also going to use that horizontal stroke pattern, and I'm going to go in and paint that wine. As you can see, I'm going to go in and I'm going to continue to paint this wine. I'm going to follow the direction of the wine that's being poured into the glass. As you can see, it's doing like a little ocean pattern, a little ocean wave kind of thing. So I'm going to make sure I'm painting in that direction so that it looks nice and uniform. And also I'm painting light enough to where I can see those black outlines. Remember, your outline serves as a guide for your painting. It's just a guide. You can change it, but it's preferable that you keep it the way it is so that your painting can come out nice and smooth. Now I'm going to create this nice dark red. So I'm going to take some black and I'm going to mix it with some red to create this nice burgundy color, like a nice cherry or wine color. And I'm going to go back in once this paint is fully mixed, and I'm going to paint my wine a little bit more just to give it some dimension, just to give it some depth to it. So you'll see me taking this dark red, and I'm going to actually paint this wine one more time. Now right here, you'll see me dip my paintbrush back in that white and gray mixture, and I'm just gonna go and add an outline to my wine glass. Now this next part, I'm gonna actually make this wine glass look like a wine glass, and I'm gonna make it have this nice transparent vibe. So you'll see me taking some white and creating these nice little C-stroke patterns on the wine glass, just to indicate that this is actually an object sitting on the table. It's not flat, it's round, it has some dimension to it. And I'm going to do the same thing on the actual glass. I'm going to just add some white on here, some white lines, vertical lines, and a nice curved stroke pattern. In no specific order or direction, I'm just going to make sure that it's adding like a nice little highlight to the glass, just to give it this nice 3D look. And you'll see me doing this on the top, right and left side, as well as the bottom. And I'm just gonna do that one more time. Nice thin strokes. And I'm also going to do that on the rim of the glass as well, inside and out. Now I'm going to do apply the same technique on the bottle. So I'm going to make sure my brush is wet, and I'm going to use that same watercolor technique, and I'm going to apply that white to the actual bottle. Just to give that bottle a nice little reflective light. To make my objects look a little three-dimensional. Now I'm going to paint the label on the bottle. I decided to just go ahead and paint it brown. So just get you some brown and just paint this nice little white space on your bottle, as well as the ridges of the bottle, of the portion where the bottle opens. Now I'm gonna go back in with some white, and I'm gonna give my wine just a little bit of highlight, and just to kind of define a nice wave or a nice flow pattern for my wine. Now I'm going to take my white and I'm going to go back into my wine glass to add some more highlights. You want to make sure you paint downward and in a curved circular motion. And the next part is the final, almost the final part. You want to take your black and you want to outline your objects. Outline that wine glass, create an extra little line in here like I did. Go back and outline your water droplets, or not your water droplets, your wine droplets, as well as the curved patterns from the wine being poured into the glass. And then outline your rim also with that black, inside and out. As well as the wine being poured from the bottle. Make sure you add those nice black lines in there. Same thing for the bottle. Outline in black. And to create nice clean lines, just make sure you load your brush up with black. Load those brushes up so that way your lines come out nice and clean. I'm outlining the neck of my glass, as well as my table. I'm gonna go back and make sure my lines are really nice and clean. And I'm gonna add some more lines. And then you get your paint and you sign your name. I'm gonna go back and add a little bit more white on my bottle, over the top of the label, as well as on my glass a little bit more, and my neck also. And would you look at there, baby? You did your own painting. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this YouTube tutorial. I am Jasmine Smith. This is Sunflower Faith. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can stay updated on my life, on God, on my family, on my art. Sunflower Gang out.